Ladies and gentlemen, Tesla stock is up 4.5% at the time of recording this video, sitting at $349 per share, almost at that $350 level, as I have been calling out. Now, believe it or not, I think we can go higher from here, but at some point we are going to get a little bit of a speed bump. Okay, we are going to get a little bit of a pushback. But with the news we're getting out today and the momentum in Tesla stock, you could be seeing 360, 370, maybe 400s in that not so distant future. So congratulations to the bulls that held through the bullshit when Tesla was in the low 200s, that didn't fall for all of the negative headlines, negative rumors and news, quote unquote news, that we were getting for Tesla. Because I've talked about this for a while now. I expected a move into the 300s to that 350 level. I mean, look at the thumbnail of the last like 20 videos. I've been screaming this since Tesla was in, the 270s, 260s, okay? It's happened. So here in this video, I will go over all of your Tesla stock news, all of your broader market news, and what's going on today. We do have big catalysts coming tomorrow, so keep that in mind. That's going to be the next big, breakout for Tesla, or a little bit of a reset. Okay, you have retail sales, you have PPI, initial jobless claims, you have a speech from Fed Jerome Powell, and you have Walmart earnings tomorrow morning. So yeah, there's going to be a bit of a data dump tomorrow morning. Jim Cramer on X, I don't know if he's trolling by this, but he says, why I still think the stock of Tesla is a buy. He shares this post from Tesla Economics that says, it's hard to imagine a person not wanting his or her own personal humanoid robot, and there are over 8 billion people on Earth today. It's also hard to imagine a business not wanting its own humanoid robot doing useful things, and there are over 360 million businesses on Earth today. This is what Elon means when he says Optimus is going to be 10x bigger than the next biggest product. If you are a Tesla investor, each share you own is a never expiring call option into this future. Which I think is a great way to put it, but the fact that Jim Cramer says that, it's like, damn. Is the inverse Cramer effect going to start kicking in? Or perhaps maybe Wall Street, the big money, is starting to understand or come to grips with the Tesla story. Maybe that's why Tesla continues to rally here. Maybe they're starting to realize it's all about Optimus. It's all about robotaxi. And these are catalysts that are coming in the next 6 to 12 months. Robotaxi's coming in like 6 weeks, but Optimus will actually start selling within the next 6 to 12 months. And that's when that will become, something you actually have to start modeling in. And those models could get wild. And look at this. President Trump has arrived in Qatar today with a motorcade led by red Tesla Cybertrucks. The vehicles are owned by Qatar's international security force known as Lakiwa. Tesla has apparently told their EV battery supplier Panasonic to hurry up in a bid to increase U.S. production. Quote, we've been told by our customer to get the Kansas site moving quickly. We're trying to do so, said Panasonic's chief executive Yuki Kasumi. Also in the news today, Tesla FSD in Europe with highway approval expected to arrive in September. And replying to this video of Tesla Optimus, Elon Musk says that he will have an Optimus dance trope on stage with him at the Tesla shareholder meeting. That video, in fact, people think is fake, like CGI, even though it's not. Now, also in great news today, Tesla's board of directors has formed a special committee to examine Elon Musk's compensation, which could lead to a new stock option package being offered to him. That's the beautiful thing about stock options as compensation and what Elon has been able to do. Essentially, Elon signed up to work for free unless there was massive value added to shareholders. That's what's so messed up about Elon's compensation package not getting approved. It's like nobody in their right mind would have taken that deal to begin with. You do all of this work, you dedicate what could be years or, a decade to building a company. If it's not successful for one reason or another and shareholders don't get rich, you're not going to make any money. Okay, that's essentially what Elon signed up for. Now, a new compensation package would have thresholds like 2 million deliveries or $2 trillion market cap or $3 trillion market cap, $5 trillion, $10 trillion market cap. In those events, the shareholders' interests are aligned with the CEO. That's the biggest green flag you could ever have in a company you invest in. Is management's incentives aligned with yours? And with Elon, it's always aligned. If you make money, he makes money. If you lose money, he loses money. It's about as simple as it possibly could get. Tesla's VP of AI software, Ashok Alaswamy, was talking about what it's like to work with Elon Musk. He says, quote, "I meet with him every week. He is really smart in the sense that he can predict the future very early. He works really hard, easily 80 to 90 hours per week. I feel fortunate to work for him. He is not afraid of taking risks. He is very funny, and you can see that in person." Vermont's Governor Phil Scott has paused the state's electric vehicle sales requirements for passenger cars and medium and heavy-duty trucks. Vermont is one of 11 states, including New York, Maryland, Massachusetts, that have adopted California's zero-emission vehicle rules, which seek to end the sale of gasoline-only vehicles by 2035. California rules require 35% of light-duty trucks in 2026 model year to be zero-emission models. Tesla is reportedly exploring land parcels in Satora and Maharashtra, India, to establish a completely knocked down CKD assembly unit for electric vehicle EVs, a senior government official told Business Standard. Also being reported, the Model S and Model X will not be returning to Australia anytime soon, according to the current boss of Tesla Australia, Thom Drew. Now let's get into some of your broader market news today. Donald Trump says the Iran situation will work out. So, not going to war with Iran probably is a good thing. China pauses unreliable entity list measure on 17 U.S. entities, according to the Commerce Ministry. China also pauses export control measures against 28 U.S. entities for 90 days, starting May 14th, which is today. And a trade tariff deal with Japan and South Korea is said to be close, according to sources. Trump said, "I'm a big crypto fan and we're leading China in crypto." Now, on the Japan and South Korea deal being close, this is according to Wall Street sources close to the White House, the timing is unclear. India deal as well, though it has been throttled by the tensions with Pakistan. And U.S. House Majority Leader Scalise says we will get the tax bill to Trump's desk before July 4th, which is something that not a lot of people are talking about right now. Go back to January and February. The stock market was doing well, although it would have done a lot better if it wasn't for the threat of tariffs looming over. But we were all focused on deregulation and lower taxes and some of the positive Trump policies, especially like financials, were really doing well on some of that deregulation and lower taxes. We've long forgotten about that, but I do think that is something that will come back around when that bill gets close to being passed, and Wall Street will start to kind of price that in and what that could look like for the economy. BMW CEO has predicted that Trump's 25% tariffs on foreign cars will be lowered by July. Speaker Mike Johnson declares support for a congressional stock trading ban. And Donald Trump secures an historic $1.2 trillion economic commitment in Qatar. And the White House says that Qatar plans to invest in the U.S. over the next 5 years. Now, we did not have really anything for economic data this morning, some oil numbers, but that doesn't really move markets. We did get a speech from Fed Jefferson. Here's one of the first comments. Fed Jefferson says the first quarter GDP data overstated the deceleration inactivity. And Jefferson says whether tariffs create persistent inflation depends on implementation and the response of supply chains, among other factors. Fed Jefferson says the labor market is still solid. Jefferson says, I expect lower growth due to trade policy, but I expect the economy to still expand over the year. He says that recent inflation data consistent with further progress towards the 2% goal, but future path uncertain due to tariffs. Jefferson says that he is watching closely for signs in the hard data of weaker activity. And he says, last but not least, the moderately restrictive policy rate is in a good place to respond to economic developments. The percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average is currently sitting at about 65%. That is on the high side of, bull markets, historical rallies. But I do just want to say that it's not that the markets are too extended. There's a lot of correlation. We've talked about this before here on the channel. Stock price breadth is in extreme greed. This is the best breadth you've seen since October of 2024, when basically everything went straight up for about 2 months, okay? And even then, you've had choppy moments of breadth. Not this time. Ever since those lows in markets, these green days have been green for a lot of different stocks and sectors. It's virtually everything is going up at once. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's not super shocking that we have a lot of stocks above their 50-day moving average. Now, the headline Fear and Greed index is coming in at 71, which is on the high side of greed. Again, kind of being thrown off by certain indicators that are super strong, like stock price breadth. Stock price strength is in greed. Put and call options in greed. Market volatility is neutral. Safe haven demand in extreme greed, and junk bond demand also in extreme greed. And market momentum is still in extreme fear, right? So I still think there's more of a rally that could come in this market. And I actually think the positive correlation is really just a good sign. I mean, stocks are moving up together. It's not just the Mag 7 that is doing all of the heavy lifting. It's everything. It will also be very interesting to see what happens with investor sentiment, because there's still a lot of bears out there. And I think a lot of it is big money that is super just still bearish, because one, we don't have trade deals finalized. Yeah, there's uncertainty if anything could change or get worse. But the whole slowdown, recession thing has scared a lot of Wall Street. And I do believe if we continue to go higher, you're going to see a chase. And to even a certain extent, like a broader market short squeeze could ensue if the economy continues to stay strong, which is why I think Walmart earnings tomorrow morning and retail sales are going to be so important. Because if it does show the economy is still doing okay, then there's really not a reason to be out of this market. Like, you would want to be in this market, right? Doesn't that make a lot of sense? It should. But again, Wall Street is just, I think they have a lot of analysis paralysis right now, and there's still a lot of bears out there. And I think that's really the wrong side of this trade to be on. So let me know what you guys think about all of this down below in the comments section. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.